Welcome to Soap Hub Says. I'm Amber Sinclair, the managing editor of SoapHub.com.
And I'm Alina Adams, Soap Hub writer and the author of soap opera tie-ins like Oakdale Confidential and The Man from Oakdale for As the World Turns and Jonathan's Story for Guiding Light. My latest book is called Go On Pretending, and yes, it is also about soaps.
We'll be here every week talking about what we loved, what we hated, and what we have questions about for every show.
We're going to start off with Bold and the Beautiful this week because, Amber, I know you have a lot of the feels, as the youth say.
Okay, I have mild disappointment that no one's been shot yet. They gave Luna a gun. I was expecting someone to get shot on Friday.
It's Chekhov's gun / Luna's gun.
Right? So I guess we have to wait, hopefully this week, and see who she shoots. I'm sure she's going to aim for Steffi, obviously, but who's going to take the bullet?
Well, we do know, though, that Jacqueline McInnes Wood is off on maternity leave soon, so perhaps it could be a bullet-directed maternity leave. Not to her. I hope she and her baby are fine. We're talking about Steffi. But while we're going to lose Steffi, we're going to get Nick. So Jack Wagner is back as Nick. So you have any hopes for Jack Wagner's Nick?
I've seen a lot of fans wanting a Nick Brooke redux, but I kind of want him to be with someone like Katie.
Really? Well, that is interesting.
Let's just throw it all, let's just mix it all up.
What do you think the appeal would be of Nick and Katie?
That it's not Nick and Brooke.
You know what? That is an excellent...
Or Nick and Taylor.
And do you think Brooke will once again be upset because if she doesn't want him, but no one else can have him? Or do you think this will be a Brooke yeah, sure, because Ridge?
This is what I'm hoping. I hope that Brooke sees Taylor with Ridge and Katie with Nick and sort of gets involved in two love triangles as she plays for whichever
it's a Venn diagram. It'll be a Venn diagram with Brooke in the middle.
Yeah, because wouldn't it be Catherine Kelly Lang plays an amazing love triangle. Let's give her two of them at the same time.
Has she done that before? I'm trying to remember. I mean, they've had quad-like things, but I don't think they've ever had her in two triangles. But the thing is, at this point, the triangle thing with Ridge, has there been anything that they haven't done in this triangle?
They haven't had Ridge. Have they had Ridge be with Katie? Because that could be interesting too.
Oh, so now you want to put even more circles here. So Nick wants Katie. Katie wants Ridge. Ridge wants Taylor.
Taylor wants anybody she can get.
Brooke wants anybody she can get. But to this day, I get this vibe from you that you don't really understand why any woman would want Ridge.
Okay, but can we talk about that?
Yeah.
Because, love Thorsten Kaye. This is not a dig at Thorsten Kaye. It is also not a dig at Ron Moss, who played him before. This is not a dig at them. They do a wonderful job with Ridge.
Characters, we're never talking about the actors. We're talking about the characters as written.
But why would anyone want Ridge?
He's rich.
Well, but that's not the only rich guy in town.
He sketches. Remember, we once had a whole storyline on him sketching or not being able to sketch. There was a whole thing about Ridge's fingers.
He's such a good sketch artist, and he makes such beautiful designs. But, the dude is a loser when it comes to, love. He cheats on everybody. He doesn't actually care about either of the women. He doesn't. Ridge cares about Ridge and only Ridge and what feels good for Ridge in the moment.
Then why would you want to stick him on our poor Katie?
Well, because I think if any woman on the show can put this man in his place, it would be Katie. Because Brooke and Taylor are too in love with him, where Katie is not in love.
I like that. And Katie did have Bill in check for a while. It didn't last too long. But okay, all right, now I'm seeing it. Yeah. I wanted to know where you saw. You think that because Katie isn't going to be head over heels in love with Rich, she might crack the whip, as it were?
Yeah, and show him how to act like a man instead of a lover boy.
That would be, because he's getting up there for, the Randy Playboy. It's kind of, Grandpa Playboy is kind of ick, you know?
It was one thing when, I don't know, because we just did that with Eric, last year or the year before, where he was playing in a love triangle against Quinn and Donna. So, there's something with the Forster men that they don't give up so
substantially younger than him. I mean, were we supposed to notice that Quinn and Donna are substantially younger than Eric?
Dude still got it.
I know, okay. John McCook. This again, just like you were saying, this isn't about Thorsten Kaye. This isn't about John McCook. John McCook, sexy as heck. Not disagreeing. I'm talking about more the theme, the message that
yes,
they're putting.
Yes.
So from the Bold and the Beautiful, we go to Days of Our Lives,
I
where
know that you
it's
have a lot to
been
say about this.
quite the week on Days of Our Lives. I did find it interesting that when Bo awoke and he was filled in on everything he had missed, he found out that Sean and Belle broke up, and he was like, well, as long as everybody was happy. And then he found out that Victor and Doug were dead, and he was, genuinely upset. And then he met his grandchildren. By the way, little Bo needs a haircut. I have no problem with long hair. My younger son's hair is down to here, but not when it's in the kid's eyes, the poor little guy. But you notice what nobody told Bo about his precious little girl, Ciara? Nobody told Bo that precious little Ciara married a serial killer. He didn't ask. I mean, he knew she was married. And although, did you find it weird when she said Bo Brady, meet Bo Brady? Isn't he Bo Weston, technically?
He is Bo Weston.
But maybe they didn't want to mention the Weston because serial killer. When do you think they're going to mention that to Daddy? Are you good enough for my little girl? Well, I don't know. I've killed several people. How do you like that, sir?
And the necktie killer. It's not even just like a serial killer. It is the necktie killer.
Well, at least he has a brand. Maybe he could market a line.
At least he has a cute nickname.
Yeah, that's true. Remember when he was afraid that the baby would also be a necktie killer when he was having those fantasies about his kid cutting neckties? So anyway, that was when I guess they did. Well, they didn't want to tell Bo about John, which is sort of serious. They didn't want to upset him. And I guess your daughter married a serial killer falls into the same category.
I'm just going to sit down and write that book today. I'll just write like a whole book about finding out your daughter married a serial killer after you woke up from a 20-year coma.
Maybe Stephanie could write that book because apparently Stephanie is the greatest writer who has ever lived. Do you see how all those people were like mesmerized by her book? Are they trying to make us think that Stephanie invented erotica? I would like to say at this time that she did not. Well, okay, to be fair, if Salem isn't in the real world, then maybe they don't have, Colleen Hoover and the Twilight series and what was it, the one with the BDSM, the one that was really 50 Shades of Grey. 50 Shades of Grey. Maybe in Salem they don't have 50 Shades of Grey, so Stephanie has invented erotica, but I'm a little confused why everyone was so enthralled. You're at a hospital and you see some bound pages. Do you immediately pick them up and start reading?
That was my confusion too.
It's a thing to do.
Right?
But at least that question isn't as pressing as they clearly wanted us to notice that Kat has some connection to Sammy. Okay, what are we supposed to do with that piece of... you are speechless. What are we supposed to do with that piece of information? I mean, Sammy's been in Europe. I was trying to think of what possible connection. So Kat is the daughter of Katrina, who John supposedly killed but didn't. But that couldn't be the connection to Sammy, right? No. I mean, that was the only thing I could think of. So that was definitely a tease, and they definitely wanted us to be aware of it. But do you have any idea what that could be?
Would it be fun? Hear me out. Wouldn't it be fun if we find out later that Kat dated Allie, and that's how Sammy knows her?
Maybe.
I know that they're not exactly in the same age group, but...
Yeah, well, I'm also thinking that she'd know other people. I mean, if she dated Allie, then... Okay, if she dated
Allie was in Europe
then...
for a really long time, right?
Yeah.
So maybe while Allie was there, especially after leaving Salem with the baby.
But then wouldn't Will know her, and then wouldn't Ari know her?
Oh, that's true. You got me.
I mean, this is Salem. Anything could happen. But I was sort of trying to follow, connect your dots there. And they all going to be at the funeral. Because we did see Ari was at John's funeral today, and Kat was at John's funeral today, because Julie absolutely was seething about that. So maybe...
Oh, the funeral. There's not enough tissues. I know that we already went through losing Drake Hodgenstein, and we all cried a lot. But the funeral is very, very... And I am not in an emotionally good enough place to do this, all right?
So we're gonna say John's funeral, very, very sad. Maybe we'll have the wherewithal to discuss it next week, but we're just gonna move straight on. We're gonna move on to General Hospital. And I know we did a lot of covering of Gio's situation last week, but this week, this is what occurred to me. You know how Sonny loves to collect young, ruthless men? I mean, there was Stone, who was living on the streets.
I never even thought of that, but yeah.
Who lost a bit of brain. There was Dex. There was Brando. Do you think Gio's going to be next in his collection? Especially since he's his grandson, and the kid is he's so lost right now because he keeps going around saying, nobody wanted me. It's like, sweetie, honey, your grandmother Lois wanted you badly enough that she lied to her daughter, and your adoptive mother certainly wanted you. So what's with this nobody wants me thing? But no, Sonny's just gonna leap on this and embrace him in the warm embrace of the mob. The kid does play a violin. And do you remember how during the Valentine's Day massacre and in all the movies about gangsters, where do they carry their guns?
In a violin case.
In a violin case. So clearly this was just meant to be.
I think so.
And especially if Sonny, he loves to collect children just the way that Carly loves to collect children. And Carly currently has her eyes on, Michael's kids, where to the point where we had that riveting courtroom testimony where Chase testified that Willow cheated on him with Michael. And we all go, Willow, bad. But I'm sorry, did I miss something in that sentence? Wasn't Michael also cheating? How Willow cheated on Chase with Michael, but Michael is not to blame?
Isn't Michael's newest baby about to be, wasn't she just born?
Yeah, but even before that, everybody's talking about how awful it was that when Willow was married to Chase, she cheated on him with Michael, while Michael kind of walks off scot-free. And here's the thing, I'm very concerned about Willow, because let's look a little bit into Willow's DNA, shall we?
Oh.
So her twin sister Nell was a little bit with the crazy. Her adoptive mom, the one who bought her in the woods, it was very unclear, and took her to a cult. Not the most sane woman, considering that she basically pimped her daughter out to a cult leader. And then her biological mom, forget the little detail where Nina drugged Ava and cut Avery right out of her, and I guess sewed her up with, a little gaffer's tape or whatever she had. And then she took the baby, and she took Avery, and she named her Jamie, and she had it for a while. So Willow, genetically, nature and nurture, a little bit with the crazy. And she did want to visit, the baby when Michael took Amelia and Wiley. Now, granted, it was Wiley's idea. Wiley said, can mommy come too? But you saw her standing there looking through the window. So here's my thought. If Willow loses her kids, if Willow loses Wiley and Amelia, and yes, I think Wiley's her kid because she adopted him, so they are both her kids. If Willow loses her kids, wouldn't the logical revenge be to take Michael and Sasha's baby?
I think it is.
And crazy. Remember, she's a little bit with the crazy.
They're lucky she's been this nice so far.
Yeah, exactly. So you can't be that nice. You're gonna snap. That's the way people are. And before we get off General Hospital, though, we have to say Kelly Tebow back. I think she's terrific. I loved Britt. I loved Britt from the moment she hated Robin. And I go back a long way because I've been watching General Hospital for a very long time. So I remember the day that child showed up. Hi, I'm Robin. And I went, this is going to ruin Robin and Holly, isn't it? And it did. But anyway, so I hate Robin on many, many levels. I've hated her through the years. So the fact that Britt hated Robin was kind of super awesome. But I really, really like Britt. But the question is Kelly going to be Britt? Just a very short return. Is she a ghost? Because, she's a little dead. So what are you thinking?
I need Britt and Jason.
They were good.
We can't have Sam and Jason. Give us Britt and Jason.
Well, and it's interesting because with the reveal of, Sasha's baby, I thought that story was going to go on longer because, Jason does love playing daddy to other people's kids. You mentioned really Sam. He pretended to be the father of her baby, the one that she lost, the one that she had with Sonny, Lila Ray. And then he pretended to be Michael's dad for like a long time. So Jason, just like remember Sonny collects kids, Carly collects kids, it's like Pokemon, them
right.
all.
Jason
so I really
just opens up the Pokeball and he's like, oh.
So I really thought that when Jason was going to pretend to be Sasha's baby daddy, that was going to take a while. But now it's all over. So he's free. So Britt, I don't know, but okay. And I'm reading online and people are like, how could she possibly be back? Oh, I don't know. How was Stavros back? How was Lucky back? How was Helena back? This is not a question you need to ask on a soap like General Hospital. So,
witness protection. But I bet it's going to be witness protection.
Really? You think so? But what about her genetic disease? We spent all those months listening to her genetic disease.
A lot of that was her mom saying she had a genetic disease.
You're thinking that Liesl lied to her?
I think they were in it together.
Okay. And that she left Jason then? Just because, So why'd she leave Jason?
She's like, screw it. She's like, screw it, I need true love. I wrote an article one time on a different site about Jason falling for Sasha. And Steve Burton was like, where did you get that from? I'm like, Jason falls in love with any woman he saves from anything.
You might
So
want to look
if
into
he's
that.
not going to have it with Sasha at this point, give him back Brit.
Okay.
Give him back Brit. I mean, one day I would also like to see Sam return, but I mean, that might not happen. So give him a powerhouse woman.
All right. You
Give him a
convinced me.
powerhouse. Sasha's a powerhouse. Brit's a powerhouse. Brit's bitchier though, so I would like, because she would put him in his place in like 10 seconds.
So this seems to be the theme. We had Katie and Ridge. You want Katie to put Ridge in his place. You want Britt to put Jason in his place. Okay. All right. So if we move over to the Young and the Restless, anyone there you want put in their place?
Oh my God, can someone just sit Mariah down and be like, either spill or stop crying? I love Cameron Grimes so much, and watching her play this extended version of whatever it is, I'm like,
well, we know now she met up with some older, sorry.
Didn't have an affair.
Michael Swan. So, but here's my theory. Whatever happened, did she sleep with him? Did she kill him? Is it both? I don't know in what order. But the point is, whatever it was, I'm sure it was Ian's fault. Because he has some daddy issues and some father issues and some old guy issues. So at this point, it had better be really, really good because we don't know who this guy is. It's not like some guy we've met before.
No.
So the story had better be spectacular.
It better be worth the wait. That's all I'm saying. It needs to be worth the wait.
You mean like Dumas?
Yeah, never mind Mariah and this being delayed. We're supposed to meet him, I guess, next Monday, right?
Right.
Which is the 14th, which is when they sent the invitations out for. Oh my God. And if it's Kane, I'm going to cry. No.
Even if it's a recast Kane?
Even if it's a recast Kane, I still like Kane, right? But what I would like to see, Summer left to go take care of Marchetti, that's how you say it. But what if she lied? What if she's Dumas?
At this point, we have named pretty much everyone
Everybody.
except Harrison. I think unless maybe Harrison is Dumas. Maybe Summer and Harrison are working together. That would be different. Yeah, at this point, I think I've seen everybody speculate online. I've heard just the other day somebody mentioned they thought it might be Gloria, Michael's mom.
Actually, Gloria would be so much fun.
But this is a woman who has failed at everything. Do we really think she's suddenly become a maid? But do you remember the time when she was hiding some flash drive somewhere, a storyline that didn't go anywhere? So maybe at this point, sure, it's Gloria. Sure, it's Kane. Maybe it's Colin. Maybe it's Colin and
What about Esther?
It's Esther. You know what? You got it. You got it. It's Esther because, well, you know what? She has just been every week from the time she first came to work for Catherine Chancellor, she has been embezzling from the main, the household account, like you give your housekeeper, I don't know, I've never done that, but I read a lot of trashy books. So my understanding is you give your housekeeper like a housekeeping allowance, and Esther has been skimming from it. And you know who she's in this with? Mamie. Mamie is Dumas. Mamie and Esther are Dumas. They're really tired of how they were treated as domestics, which is understandable. And now they've invited the Newmans and the Abbotts and the Chancellors and the Winters, and they're going to make them all clean the house. When they get there, they keep saying it's a villa or a chateau or whatever it is. They're going to make them clean it from top to bottom.
Everybody walks in, gets a mop, bucket, broom.
This is my prediction. If it happens. If
that doesn't happen, I'm going to be very disappointed.
Well, can you imagine Phyllis coming in and announcing that she's the smartest person like she did today? I think she actually told Daniel, I am the smartest person in town. So can you see her walking in and it Miss Mamie? And
At least to give her a storyline.
Mopping would give her a storyline.
Because just walking around being angry is not a storyline.
And she's not even angry. She's deranged, which is the difference. She keeps talking about how amazing she is, and nobody believes her, so she just screams it louder. Well, to be fair, she could be a politician. Look at that. She could be a politician. She could just tell people how wonderful she is and how they don't realize how wonderful she is.
And everybody should know how wonderful she is.
And that would give her a story. Remember when Jack and Nikki were both running, was it for the state senate? So we've had a political story before. Now Phyllis, now it'll be Jack, Nikki, and Phyllis are all running. Okay, imagine Phyllis running for office.
Oh my God. Like, what would her platform be? Like,
wonderful.
Crime?
All hail Phyllis. That would be her platform. There's a national holiday. Every week there's a new national holiday.
Queen of Genoa City.
It's no. Come on, broader than that. It's Phyllis Day International. You know, like International Women's Day and International Workers' Day and International Labor Day. I think there should be an International Phyllis Day.
I do too. I share a birthday with Michelle.
Do you? It should be
Yeah.
both of you then. Then it definitely should be both of you.
So I
And
listen to this.
if you're going to run for office, then you should be on Beyond the Gates, because that's where they keep telling us about how they're all politicians. Martin's still a politician, right? He periodically gets a phone call and has to
I
go
think so.
do something. And Vernon periodically comes out and says, I have a speech to make, and then he puts on his glasses and he leaves. So I think he's still doing that. But you know what I gotta say is, we've been talking about the storyline with Anita and her two former backups liking it. It's so nice to see a story for older women, because usually when you do these stories, it's so common to have, you know, we started a business together and then one of us screwed over the other and then one became successful. I mean, it's the basic story. Dallas, that was the Ewings and the Barnes story. And you had, you know, back on All My Children, you had Palmer and Adam, who were rivals from a long time back. You very rarely have that with women.
Right.
So I am really excited to see that storyline. I think it's giving a lot of meaty material, but they keep adding more articulates. Turns out that there was another articulate. There was poor dead Barbara. Well, first of all, do we really think she's dead? When my husband and I were watching, he said, do you really think she's dead? I'm like, it's a soap. Are you new here? So is Barbara really dead? But before we get to whether Barbara is really dead or not, let's say she had a daughter before she died. And as long as we're ripping off Diana Ross and the Supremes in every which way possible, Barbara's daughter should be played, work with me, Rhonda Ross, who is Diana Ross's daughter and had an Emmy nomination in the late 1990s for Another World. So she's been on daytime TV. She's a good actress for daytime TV. Rhonda Ross is Barbara's daughter.
Love it.
I've done the casting for them.
Then we need to talk about Leslie and Joey.
And well, here's the thing. So again, my husband and I were watching this show, and he was saying Leslie's so awesome, which she is. She is 100% awesome. And he's saying, you know, she needs a love interest, because, you know, on a soap, you're not going to last long without a love interest. I mean, right now they just have her lurking and torturing her daughter and, you know, keep saying something to her teddy bear.
Mother.
But okay, the Ted thing isn't going to work. Who else is someone that actress wouldn't eat alive? And then I started thinking Joey,
like
Leslie and Joey. She wouldn't eat John Lindstrom alive, because he's a really experienced actor, for one thing. But for another thing, also, Joey would not have any trouble with some of her moral choices. And I know Joey's
on some of those.
Exactly. It could be a very, very good team. She could help him out. Like, you know, when he threatens to break someone's legs, well, she could go do it, and they'd be like a power couple.
I
So
like
that would be that would be super awesome. But the other thing is, I know Joey's in another storyline right now. So remember how last week I didn't care that Chelsea was upset that the wife of the couple that she had a hookup with didn't want to be exclusive with her because A, she was into trios, and B, she was married. And so I didn't really feel Chelsea's extreme sadness. I don't feel Vanessa's sadness that she slept with Joey on a blackjack table and now he's blackmailing her, because I feel a lot of like love and emotional commitment there, especially since we've also seen Vanessa sleep with so many people. I'm not judging. I'm just pointing out that she's not someone who expects to have a relationship with someone she sleeps with, and now we're supposed to be upset. I get she's upset that he wants her business, 100%, although I also would like to say that I called it from the beginning. I was saying that he's not interested in Doug, he's interested in Vanessa's real estate business, because real estate holdings are really great to have when you're a mobster. But I am not feeling particularly bad for Vanessa, that Joey slept with her and is now blackmailing her through her husband. Also, not feeling particularly bad for Chelsea, that she now seems to be falling for this woman who won't give her name, comes in, won't tell her anything about herself, and then just leaves. Is that sexy? Forgive me, I'm very old. I have kids Chelsea's age. I clearly don't know what young people are into. You're younger than me, Amber. Tell me.
I don't get it.
And her big secret is that she's a neurologist?
My big secret is that I'm super smart. And
beautiful.
And I'm gorgeous, and I'm the entire package, except
I don't answer questions, and I don't know how to politely say goodbye. I did not have good home training. I was not well raised. That's her secret, that she has no manners.
Like, how do you just leave?
Yeah, and Chelsea's intrigued by this.
Yeah.
Also, if the woman's a doctor and a specialist, she's got to be a lot older than Chelsea, too. I
Is
mean, we
Chelsea
don't know.
just someone who likes the chase and not the catch?
If that's true, then I'm going to continue not feeling bad for her. Like I didn't feel bad for her with the couple. I'm not feeling bad here. Yeah, you're right. Maybe
How many people
Chelsea
you fall
likes
in love with in a month?
maybe Chelsea is one of those things where she only wants someone who she thinks she can't have.
Hey, are you Ridge? That's Ridge dating.
Wow, that's really good bringing it back to the beginning. That is excellent work, Amber. Yes. So we started with Ridge, we end with Chelsea. That is brilliant. And that's it for now. I'm Alina Adams. My soapy historical fiction novel, Go On Pretending, is available now wherever books are sold. Check it out on alinaadams.com.
And I'm Amber Sinclair, managing editor of Soap Hub. You can find me here every week or on TikTok under the username Destroy the Canvas, where I showcase my silly little arts.
Make sure you join us next week when we'll have even more to say about all your favorite soaps, past and present and past. In the meantime, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and visit soaphub.com, where we have recaps, we have interviews, and we have spoilers. We do. You got to see what we know. We know things. People send us things. We know them. See y'all soon.
Bye.